meaning of destiny is to make firm establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And also, I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I will introduce you to my wonderful guest, Denise Davis. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the show live or at a later date, as it means a lot to me to connect with like-minded women. Now, if you've never met me before, then my name is Ray, and I love to help women to crossroads in their life, heal their past, create their future, and transform their present so they can take charge of their destiny in the here and now. I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy, and I use future life progression, past life regression, guided meditation, angelic Reiki, angel oracle cards, and hypnosis to help women who feel lost get clear on their reason for being here. And I've also created a transformational journey to help you take charge of your destiny and a journey through lifetimes. Now, each episode of the show will cover various themes of your journey, a mini guided meditation or angel oracle card reading, with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's guest, Denise Davis, about how you can harmonise your heart the badass way. Now, Denise is a coach, healer, author, and speaker who, after devastating divorce, turned to coaching and reinvented herself anew and created a life of choice, including leaving family and friends to move down to Dorset and starting a new way of life. Now, Denise was guided to create Harmonise Your Heart Process, which uses sound sync to synchronise the three brains, a clearing statement, and an anchor to seal it. Having carried out the release of blocks, Denise then uses future life progression so that the client can see their future life and get advice on ways to achieve this from their future selves. And Denise gives you advice on how to harmonise your heart so you have greater self-love, self-care and self-esteem with an increased self-awareness, plus tools to release anxiety and boost your good feelings. Now, Denise has also published her book, Harmonise Your Heart the Badass Way, which is the tips that you need to help you with from everything from divorce to career change, empty nest syndrome, relocation, and much, much more. Now, with testimonials such as, since having therapy with Denise, I've made dramatic and positive changes in my life. I am fitter, happier, and about to travel the world and realize my dreams. Denise has helped inspire and motivate me. And thank you, Denise, for your help. Oh, for helping me to discover the root of my problem. I feel so much happier and positive about my life and have made some big decisions to improve it even further. So without further delay, hello, Denise, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you very much for inviting me, Ray. It was lovely to see a little bit of sunshine this morning, and the
It,
temperature's rising a little bit because I've been walking for a few days and there's been a lot of ice.
exactly. And I'm thinking the heating might is getting a little bit because I'm really warm in here as well. So before we get into this fascinating conversation, I want to remind you that you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Denise and I want to be part of this conversation. So please do not be shy. So, Denise, why don't you tell us more about your interesting journey and how we can harmonise our hearts the badass way?
That's really interesting. So I found coaching actually before my divorce, and that was to lose weight. I went for something else, and as you know, as a coach, sometimes you go with a presenting condition, and something else pops up. So I found that really fascinating. And then when my husband did leave me, I really embraced that. So I cut down on my teaching. I went and did floristry, and I did coaching and healing things, which I just found amazing because they're so quick. And I just thought this is something I have to do. It was almost like the career chose me, which was, well, it's fab because to me, and probably to you too, it doesn't seem like work. You're talking with lovely people, and seeing them blossom, really, open up and become more of who they truly are. So I absolutely adore it. So that's what I did over the, well, I'm still honing skills now as we do. So I'm not really taking any trainings now, but that's what I've been doing for the last 17 years since my ex-husband left. But I, gosh, I'm a bit tongue-tied tonight, which is strange for me. um, so lots of things that I did, which I won't list them all, but there were a lot of things that I realised about me at the time. Um, And that was that I was very much a people pleaser, that I did everything to keep everybody else happy, but I never seemed to factor myself in. And I just think, well, life is a gift. I'm not being present for myself, and I'm not accepting that gift by living it for everyone else. So one of the big things about that was choosing where I live. And that meant completely uprooting myself from Bedfordshire and moving all the way down to Dorset, which had been a dream for about 38 years or more. And that was a way that I could love myself, by actually doing what I wanted to do for a change. And although initially I thought that that was selfish, when I first went coaching, I thought, oh gosh, doing things for ourselves seems selfish. But actually, if you're if you're permanently living your life for everybody else, then when are you actually going to do it for you? And that's what the insight I got about moving. So people pleasing, I don't do that anymore. And I also did rescuing too. I was really good at that one. Also, I used to do a lot of things. So when my ex-husband left me, I just went into overwhelm. So many different things to change and do. And what I realized, for me, one of the things that I still employ that to this day, is to do one thing at a time, just literally focus on one thing. And I found I could get through everything. So even if when I was at my bleakest, when I was really quite low and depressed, actually, I would break the day up even into 3 parts. So, right, I've got through the morning. Whew, hooray. And so I would make everything small so I could feel as if I could achieve something. Um, so that was two of the things. Obviously, there's loads, because for me, self-love, like you said, is self-care, self-esteem, and all sorts of things. So it's also considering what I put in and on my body. So what foods suit my body? It's not what the government necessarily what the government says. I trial and error. I found out what things really don't suit me, and gluten really is one that just doesn't. And I'm not sure that it's great for everybody, but it's definitely not good for me. So that was important. Another thing on a practical level was hydration. I dislike the taste of fluoride or chlorine. And I've had a friend who's got a Kangen machine, and the water that comes from that is absolutely awesome. So I choose not to drink water from the tap. And also, we know the downsides of fluoride is it can affect your pineal gland, and that also will then, if it's calcified, can block some of your connection to source and your angels and celestial beings and all of that. So that's another reason why not to drink the water. Other things that I noticed about me was that I didn't have boundaries, really. People could really push me to do pretty much anything. Not that anybody ever did anything really outrageous, but I would always put them first again. So that was important for me, to find like-minded people and to have that self-respect for me. Nobody gave me self-respect. I had to put my boundaries there in place so that people knew how far they could go and no more. And I found that meant that my relationships that I had really were far better. So I didn't have people that were draining my energy. I would have people that I was mixing with, and I'd be feeling great, but by the end of the conversation, I'd be as drained as anything, and they'd go off happy as Larry. So
Yeah.
yeah, so my relationships are different too, which I think is quite important for me. And I found, like, down here, there's an awful lot of people who are like-minded. And for me, having a community that I feel that I've belonged to is also another way that I can feel that I've gifted myself that self-love again, because the most important relationship we have is the one with ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is obviously a lot more than that. But simple things that other people can do is sound to balance your chakras and make yourself feel good. And obviously on the 14th of not October, Valentine's Day. So that was Sunday, wasn't it?
Yesterday.
Yeah. So all throughout the world, everybody will be toning the sound R, which is your heart chakra, for love. And as you said in my process, in there it's got the three brains to tone, but actually if you in the book it's got all the tones for the seven chakras in the body. And again, to do that is great because you're keeping yourself balanced. And I think when I say harmonize your heart, it's balancing your mind, body and spirit. As I said, that can be practical, it can be it can be the other things. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm really laughing at myself because I am somebody who normally talks a lot, and yeah, it's not flowing in the same way today.
Oh,
But
that
one of
that
the things that I do in the morning before I actually get out of bed is to sing a little ditty, and our subconscious mind listens to what we say about ourselves. So it's important that we monitor our self-talk, and if we say anything negative, to then negate that and put what we actually want instead. So one of the would you like me to share the song?
I was going to say you've now got to sing that ditty.
Yeah, so this is the first thing I do when I open my eyes, and I have got a funny throat tonight, so do excuse me. Anyway, every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I can tell all is well. Every little cell in my body is well. I can tell all is well. Every little cell in my body is well. So
I
that is
love
the
it.
first thing I do because I'm telling my body I'm healthy and well, and I know it listens. So I do that every morning without fail. I do have other things that I do in the morning. There's statements that I make that are like Wayne Dyer's I am statements, but you could also call them affirmations. Um, they're things that I want to do to set up my day well.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling really not great, then I will either do a meditation or a clearing process, or I'll journal, even if it's only for 10 minutes. I think it's important for me to have a morning practice that I do before I get out of bed so that I'm setting myself up for the day. And similar at night, gratitude is a huge thing for me. That I do every morning as well without fail, even if I don't do the other things. Ditty and gratitude are the two things that I always do every single day.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
so,
I I do that. Gratitude. And Graham says Yahoo. I think that was for the ditty we were singing.
yeah, my voice went a bit funny actually, but
Did.
hey
But
ho.
but Graham has also said, your story, Denise, sounds so much like the life I had before I came to the USA and found my wife life. Thank you very much.
Oh,
So
that's lovely.
again, somebody else who's got a very similar story. So there must be lots of people that you see that have very similar stories.
Yeah, and what I find quite often interesting when I've had clients is I can empathize with them because some of the things that they're presenting when they're coming to me are things that I have gone through myself. And it also shows me, oh wow, that's interesting because now that's not triggering me anymore. And I love that because it's like, yeah, it shows your own growth. But a lot of the clients that come, if you boil it down to the very bottom level, again it is that lack of self love and that self doubt.
Yeah,
So it's important for me, I believe, that everybody validates themselves.
yeah,
We can never please everybody all the time. So the one person who should care about us is us. So again, in the book, I adapted an energetic NLP process that Art Geyser. I don't know if you know Art Geyser. Do you,
I've
Ray?
heard about guys. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So anyway, so I adapted that so that we can self validate. So whoever buys the book, you can do that every day, and it's about drawing in the energy from whatever you like to call it, the universal energy from above and Mother Earth energy down here, but also our own self, and putting it out to the symbol and then allowing that to flow back. So you're receiving from above and below And I think, again, that is important. That was something that I always looked outside of myself years ago. And again, not everybody's going to like us. They're not. We resonate with people who are more like us. So there's always going to be some people that you can't please. And even people that I was friendly with all those years ago, what I did notice was every time I kept not trying to grow, every time I was growing, um, it didn't go down very well, because in the book I use the term crab buckets. Don't know if you've heard it, but when a crab tries to climb up the bucket, the other crabs try to grab it and bring it back down again.
Uh-huh.
And so again, the self-respect part is that you respect yourself enough that you don't be drawn back down again, that you focus on your own growth. And as we know, people come and go from our lives, and those ones that don't resonate any longer will be replaced, because the universe likes to fill a void.
Yeah, it does. And Graham says, become selfless and not selfish is paramount.
Absolutely, I totally agree. I think, though, of the older generation. I'm literally going to be 65 in a couple of months, and we were always taught that it was selfish to put ourselves first. And I even viewed that, because my ex-husband always made sure that he filled his cup. He always made sure he did his sports and all the activities he wanted to do so that he could function in the world. But at the time, because I didn't know what I know now, I did think that that was selfish. But of course, it's not. He
No,
was doing what he needed to do to keep himself in a good place so that he could provide for the family and the children and go about his job and everything else. And it's funny how over the years, you can see things very differently, because you've got far more knowledge.
yeah,
And I
totally.
think that's really helped me a lot in this time that we're living now, how to be fearless, when all around you are full of fear, just to be able to keep yourself buoyant and just know and have trust and faith in the universe, and trust and faith that things always do work out in the end. And it might be a little while before things sort themselves out, but as long as you keep yourself at a reasonable vibration as much as you can. I mean, I'm human. I dip every now and then, of course I do. And I don't do spiritual bypassing by straight away clearing my emotions or anything. I sit with them and see what arises and where things have come from. If that persists after a while, then of course I will do some clearing. But it is about just allowing the emotions to be. Whereas when I was first divorced, my diary was cram packed, because I didn't want any time on my own.
Yeah,
I didn't know, it wasn't a conscious action, obviously. But, when you look back and you think, oh, wow, yeah, no, you didn't like being on your own. I grew up in a family of six and recreated that. So for me to be on my own was bizarre. And yet I've been on my own for years now. And, we do adapt. We're great, actually, as humans, how flexible we are. And I think the more flexible we are, and the less we hold on to definitive outcomes, the happier we'll be.
yeah.
Because not everything does pan out as we expect. I don't think many of us have planned for this one.
No, exactly. I don't think we have. And Graham says, young and eh? And then he says, by the way, I'm 67, Denise. Yeah.
But
Um,
I'm still five in my heart.
well, I mean, haven't you done skydiving or something? And
Oh yeah, I did that
scuba
for my
diving,
50th.
was that?
I did that for my 50th with my 21-year-old son at the time, my youngest son. So we did that together. That was quite funny. And I've done scuba diving. I've done all sorts of things. I just think, age, although I was mentioning my age and I was just trying to put it into a generational context, really and truly, it is just a number. It's how you
Mm,
feel. And I'd love to go whitewater rafting next. And when I
why
was
not?
60, a friend asked me to go, and oh my gosh, that was really interesting. Have surf lesson. Oh wow. I think I swallowed half the ocean. I'm sure. But yeah, you just got to be up to having new experiences and having fun.
Exactly. So, something you mentioned earlier. Now, I know what it is, but for those that are watching, three brains. What are the three brains?
Well, you've got your brain, your heart brain, and your gut brain. And actually, when I was out in Colorado, I was blessed to go to this huge event, and we had the Heart Math Institute there, and Howard Martin was there from that event, and he asked for a volunteer, which happened to be my friend. And she's got a PhD in science and all sorts of things, as well as being a coach and everything like we are. So I knew that whatever happened, because I knew her, I knew it would be real. There's no faking anything, because she just wouldn't be playing along just to keep somebody happy. So what I really found interesting from that was he gave her a pile of cards face down, and we could see on the screen. So she was wired up to the computer, but they put it on a big screen so that we could see it, although I was more focused on her, looking at her face. And before she actually turned the cards over, you could see the reaction beforehand. That is how quick our heart picks up the messages. It's just amazing. So you could see if she was going to have a happy reaction or a sad reaction before the card was actually faced. So she was picking up what was on the other side before she even saw it, which all those years ago for me, that was just like, oh my word, that is just awesome. It was amazing. And they said again, when they've got these data places all around the world that pick up things, and just before Lady Diana passed over, there was this huge spike everywhere throughout the world on all these data things. So again, everything is picked up just before it happened. It's just amazing.
It is. So how do we work with these with these three different brains? Our head, our
Well,
heart, and our gut.
well, the way I did it in the protocol, which I don't know whether you want to call it channeled, but I kept being woken up in the night, gifted to different parts of it throughout the night. And they're all things that I've done, but never thought to put together. So somebody somewhere helped me with that one. And it is about toning them. So I contacted the Heart Math Institute, and I wanted to check that the order that I had it in the book is the way that we pick up that. So it's about synchronizing those three brains. Because again, if our chakras get out of kilter, as you may know, and possibly most of the people listening, that can have an effect on us. So for me, those are the three. They're all important, but if you had to prioritize, I would say that they were fairly high up, and we want them in sync so that we can be that, like an antenna, and pick up even more, can't we, if we're all in balance. And so that's where harmony comes in. So in the book, obviously, I've done the introduction and shared my story, which is quite long, having lived all these years. And I said to people, if they don't want to, just hop over to part two. And then I go and describe what harmony is, and then what, the importance of our heart, including our higher heart. Because again, we want to be energetically as well as physically sound. We're a holistic being, so we want everything to be functioning as much as we can. So I think sound is one of the things. I've got huge gongs, a couple of really big gongs, and again, I use that as well as other things. But people who haven't got gongs can tone their chakras, or they can do it with a drum. If they've got the drum, to put it actually on their body and then go down the chakras, or just if you want the whole body, just do that. I've got some great celestial tuning forks that I love, and they're tiny, tiny little things like this. And there's three of them, and I ding that, and I do that round my body or a client's body. Well, even a friend, actually, even if a friend comes round, oh, do you fancy having a bit of a balance of your chakras, and I'll go round your aura? Oh, yes, please. So yeah, there's obviously lots of ways. I don't want to bore everybody, and anyway, I want you to buy my book, please, so you
I
can
say,
find out
well,
more.
how did you get around to writing a book?
Well, that was interesting as well, because I was running I was co-hosting the Highcliffe Positive Living group. So what we did was we would get speakers come and speak at our group. Obviously, if I was still running it now, that would obviously be online as we're doing this. And it got to the point that I thought, I'm actually not doing my own work. I seem to be doing more of this, which, although it was helpful, it really wasn't, after a certain point of time, it really wasn't being of service to me. And I realized that. So I thought, okay, it's been a great experience, but now I need to be focused on what I need to do. So within a couple of weeks of leaving, I just woke up one morning and I thought, oh, that talk I gave, I could make that into a book. Little did I know how long that takes. I was really quite naive because I was asked to do a talk at the group that I co-hosted. So that was like my swan song. And I thought, oh yeah, I'll put that into those chapters. That'll be it. That'd be great. But it was really interesting because over time I realised that I was going to put the spiritual bits in, and then I remember my youngest daughter saying to me before, when I was doing plans about a retreat, she says, if you're going to approach people who are not necessarily witchy woo like you need to think about a bit of science. So again, I backed up quite a lot of what I put in the book to show that it isn't witchy woo stuff. This science is backing up and showing the difference, that all the modalities that I use make a difference. Now, what may work for one of my friends, let's say the emotion code, may not for another. If she doesn't like it, she might prefer EFT or something else that I do. So again, I'm a great believer that everything works for somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that's why I would never knock anybody else's processes, because again, I just think, who are we to choose, because that's worked for other people.
Exactly.
And like you, I'm an FLP practitioner, and that's something that I use with almost every single client, because I
Yeah,
think
I tend to find
once
it
you
comes in quite a lot.
yeah, I think once you've got your clients in that good space, then they've got those insights from themselves, which is much better than being told by someone else, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. If you actually experience it yourself and it comes from you, it's so much more powerful.
Absolutely. And I even think that with meditation, we listen to our own voice is far more powerful to our soul and our bodies to heal. So again, if I've given a client a meditation or anything, I'll say, go away and record that yourself and listen to you do it, for that reason, because they love it. It doesn't matter if we can't sing or sing well or anything. Our soul loves our sound and our voice. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
always more powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Graham was saying vibrational therapy and different vibrations.
yeah, good vibrations.
But yeah,
Reminds me of that old song. Good, 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 good vibrations.
yeah, yeah. It's brilliant, brilliant songs like that. Um,
Well,
yeah,
singing in itself is healing, isn't it? It just
yeah,
uplifts your spirits, which in
exactly.
turn can have a feeling benefit. So yeah,
Especially if you're driving along, you don't not worried about our cars cutting you up or anything. You're just singing along to your song, really happy.
yeah, I love singing. Actually, I think it's really great. I did a sound healing lesson when my son was in the UK. He's emigrated to America. He was teaching in London, and I remember taking a lot of my instruments and my big gongs up there for two
Wow.
year four classes, who hadn't seen that he was in a really deprived area. So they'd not seen any of the things I had. So I did a formal lesson teaching about sound. And again, of course, I did my ditty, and I got them all tone in R as well for the heart. And it was funny because again, my voice broke then as well. And I just laughed. So the kids could see that, it doesn't matter if things go wrong. You can just laugh with yourself. And that was interesting. But when I did the gong bath, most of the kids laid down on the floor. So we got two huge classrooms in this room, laying on the floor. And my son asked for feedback, so the children wrote something on a slip. And the two that stood out the most for me is, one little lad said, "That made my soul soar." And I
Oh,
just thought,
bless.
oh. And the other one, which it makes me laugh even today, and it's probably not appropriate to laugh, but I'm here and I'm not at the school, was, "Oh, I loved watching Mrs. Hill," because I was still using my married name then. I loved watching Mrs. Hill because her bottom was wiggling every time she was stroking the gong. And I just thought that was hilarious.
Oh, that is.
Nothing about the sound. He just thought it was funny and that me moving.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. And Graham says nothing goes wrong, just changed aspects.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that I always say from my trainings all those years ago is there is no failure, it's just feedback. And that is true. It's feedback saying, right, okay, well, that didn't work that way. So, hey ho, try something in a different way. And that I think is really powerful, because if you're thinking it's a lesson and a learning, it's very different than shaming yourself, saying that you failed something. You think of Edison, he was the light bulb, I think.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they tried so many things thousands of times before they actually got it right. But every time they were learning something not to do until
Yeah,
they finally got there. So again, you obviously need to be persistent.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
so where does the badass come into the title of the book?
Well, that's interesting because a few years ago I wrote a chapter for a book thinking that that would encourage me to write my own book, because I'd started books before and never got to finish them, but that was always being encouraged by everyone else, and so it wasn't really flow. Anyway, this chapter, that was really quick, and that was in a book that said "Uncaged the Badass," and it was all about women and what adversity they'd come over, which you can't get a lot in a chapter, believe me. I wrote three before I realised that actually a chapter is really quite short. Anyway, so I did that, and you know Wendy Fry, don't you, Ray?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I decided that this time I would employ people to help me, not write my book in any way, but I employed uh, Richard McMunn's company to help me do the tech to self-publish. And I thought, if I book some coaching with Wendy, uh, who I've known quite a long time because I met her at EFT conferences as well as the FLP trainings and gatherings. She's a great coach. That way, should anything come up like writer's block or anything, I was covered in both counts. Well, actually, I'd written half the book before I even had a session with Wendy, but it was great because I didn't have an awful lot of angst around writing the book, but she had great tips because she'd already written two, and
yeah.
she was partway through her third one. So that was really interesting. And when I said to her I was going to call it Harmonise Your Heart, or How to Harmonise Your Heart, and she said, no, you got to have the badass way. She said, because you're not all fluffy and unicorns. You have toughed things out, and she said it just wouldn't be right. And she said, and it ties in with the other book, because which she'd known about. And so what I did was, badass had a funny connotation for me. So I went and Googled, and when I asked, don't ask other people's opinions, especially family. Oh no, that's dreadful, 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 dreadful. But when I Googled it, it had positive and a negative connotation, which was really interesting. And again, speaking to Wendy, and she said, you were so keen. I said, yeah, but the family, children. And then when I spoke to her again, I was all invigorated again with it. Yes, I really loved it. She said, you're not just one little marshmallow. She said, you've got your marshmallow, but you've got your other bits too. My lovely little, whatever it is, my hardened shell or whatever. Um, and so it did make sense, actually. And I wanted it slightly different because I call my business Harmonise Your Heart anyway.
Yeah.
And I just think the badass way just gives it a different flavour. Yeah, I'm really happy to call it that. But that was Wendy's prompting,
Oh, brilliant.
and
Uh,
she was such a love. She went and checked out the competition that had badass, and she said, "See, there's other people using it in a positive way."
like that.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So Graham has actually has said positive viewpoints matter, and he also says, "Where are you from, Denise? You sound a local too, like myself from the Midlands."
I'm not actually. I spent most of my life in Hemel Hempstead and in Luton. So I've been down here for 6 years, but I moved from London age 6 to Hemel Hempstead. I was there till I married at 19, and I lived in Luton, a lovely part of Luton called Stopsley, which is really beautiful. Everybody remembers the old Luton advert with
I know.
Lorraine.
I was just going to say that with Lorraine Trace. Lorraine
Yeah,
Trace, if you're that
yeah.
old.
Everybody remembers that. Um, so I used to make a joke out of it, but I did live. I was really blessed that I lived in a lovely area of it. Um, and what was I saying? I've totally lost
So
my.
no, but that was Graham just throwing a curveball. Although he did say earlier, if I can find it, because you're talking about the white water rafting.
Oh yeah.
He did say, there you go, come to Florida then and be warm whilst doing them,
Oh my God,
because
that
that's where
sounds. Like,
Graham's from,
oh, so
or where
we're
he's or,
really,
or where he's living, I should say, because he's from the Midlands.
so we're really freezing here, and you could please send some more sunshine over because we could really do with it. Well, actually, when I went to Bali and I did my scuba diving, I did my PADI certificate. I think I was 50 when I did that too. We were due to go whitewater rafting, but unfortunately, my friend got really ill, so we didn't end up going. And that was strange because we were doing scuba diving, we were drinking cocktails, and she was supposed to be traveling for a year, and she came home that Christmas. So we were out in Bali in July, I think, uh, pregnant. So she had no idea that when she was being sick and we weren't going whitewater rafting, but we were going scuba diving and drinking cocktails. She had no idea she was pregnant because it was a lovely miracle surprise.
Yes, and yeah, the whitewater rafting would have taken it to a whole new level.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have been advisable. But
No.
yes, so I've still not done that, but that would be lovely. Oh, the thought of being in Florida. It's absolutely pouring with rain here. I'm just looking out of my window. Absolutely pouring.
Oh,
We can
Graham says,
dream.
sorry, Denise. So Denise, as you know, I do guided meditations and angel oracle card readings. So each week I like to ask my guests what they would like me to do for them and themselves watching. So would you like me to do a guided meditation or pull an oracle card for you and those watching?
I think an oracle card would be lovely. Thank you.
Funny enough, I've got them in my hand,
Ooh,
uh, which is
you must be psychic, darling.
it's because everyone loves the cards. Um,
Oh,
it's every now and again someone will go. I think they do it just to test me, guided meditation. Now, as you know, when I do the cards, I do the cards for what you need to know for your highest good at this moment in time. Which, although I work with the past is to release the past so you can be fully present. And working with the future, when you know what your future is, you can be fully present. You're not worried about it. So, what does Denise and everyone who's watching this need to know for their highest good at this moment in time? What does Denise and everyone who's watching this need to know for their highest good? Okay, so what's card's going to come out? Wow, this is what we like to see. Breaking trail, a breakthrough is at hand.
wow. Woohoo. What
Uh,
deck is that from, Ray?
this is from the Sacred Traveller Oracle cards.
Oh, that's an interesting. I haven't got that. I love cards.
Yes. So basically, yeah, a breakthrough is at hand. And it's as you were saying, moving forward and creating that path that you want. And that's what you're doing at the moment. And those of you that are watching at the moment is taking that path, breaking through that path to move forward to do what you want to do, because a breakthrough is at hand. Because as soon as you start moving in that direction, things just start falling into place. So keep moving forward, to actually to bring in that breakthrough that is waiting to come in for you now.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's good, because I said to you earlier, I'm just started to write my self-love course, and I've been putting off doing anything, you know, online. Not, I work with clients on a one-to-one, but to do anything group-wise online, or even like a downloadable, and this one's going to be a downloadable, and I will then do one in line on a group. But I've been resisting that, so that's really interesting, because I've literally just started that. So that's great, that's
Yeah.
fabulous.
So keep moving with that. And Graham says, being your true self and shedding the barriers others put before you. Absolutely, it is definitely being your true self and
Oh,
moving
totally.
forward. And that. So, Denise, do you have any insights or thoughts to leave our viewers?
Well, actually, you know what you said about being authentic, I think that is true. It is important to be the best, to act with integrity, to be true to ourselves. And that means in all areas of our lives, really, about being authentic and transparent, so that others can see that we mean what we say, and that we act with respect so others can respect us. I just think the times that we're living in right now is try and take care of our own thoughts, because they are what create our emotions. And in chapter 8 of my book, which, plugging again,
Oh, yeah,
it's talking about the fact that we are all one, we are all energetically connected.
yeah,
And if I'm keeping my vibrations high as and when I can, I am putting good out into the world. My vibrations go out and create a ripple effect. So again, it is about ourselves and keeping ourselves with a positive mindset. But hey, if we're doing that, we're also helping the world as well. So send love out to everybody and anybody, including the planet.
absolutely perfect. So, thank you so much for that. So, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this and found it insightful. And the words of wisdom Denise has given you will help you further on your journey. So, Denise, if people want to connect with you, how do they do that?
So they can connect with me on Facebook, because it's Denise Davis on Facebook. Although that's probably more difficult, because I've got I keep going up to my 5,000. So you could follow me on there, or my Harmonise Your Heart page on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram. I think it's Denise Davis 123. Um, my website is denisedavis.co.uk. I think that's it. And LinkedIn.
Yeah. And what I'll do is I'll put I'll in the comments, I'll put a direct link to each of those so people can just click on it, to connect with you. And where's your book?
Here, here.
Hey, so can people buy it from you direct, or is it on Amazon or?
Can buy it to me, for me direct, but obviously then you're going to have to pay the postage. So I will sign it, however, which you can't get if you can go to Amazon. And maybe if I send you the links, Ray, the US link and the UK link from Amazon, then maybe you can put that on your
Yeah.
page.
Yep, I can do that. And Graham says, yes, I've enjoyed every moment with you both. Hugs and thanks, tons. Thank you,
Oh,
Graham, for watching and joining in with the conversation. It's been it's always lovely when the audience, those
yeah,
watching, actually
yeah,
participate and comment and ask questions. So thank you, Graham.
I
So
agree.
yeah. So if you have reached that crossroads in your life and you need help finding your destiny and getting clear on your path, then I would love to be that guide for you. Please feel free to reach out and connect with me, and we can arrange a free 20 to 30-minute video call to find out more about each other and whether I feel that I can help you on your journey. And of course, the Angel Wings membership is open, where you get a chance to grow with Ascended Masters, Archangels, Gods, Goddesses, Oracle cards, guided meditations, and other members of the group to spread your wings and soar. And of course, I have my weekly newsletter where you get a free gift to help you de-stress, a free guided meditation, plus a few other little benefits. And of course, I am running an FLP online workshop next Saturday. So if you want to find out what Denise and I have been talking about with Future Life Progression, then do check out the link I'll post and come along and try the workshop out. And you never know, you might end up, who knows what information you'll find out, because I will be taking you forwards in time. So thank you everyone again so much for watching. And I'd like to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more women who feel lost and want to get clear on their destiny just like you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then do subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when the show goes live. And Graham says, I talk non-stop, lol. And Marion says, lovely wisdom shared. Thank you both. Thank you so much, Marion, for...
Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt your thanking Marion. Thank you, Marion. I just want to say that on my YouTube channel, there is the Dissy, if they want to listen to it a few times so that they've got the tune in their head.
Yep, and I'll put the link in the comments as well. Yeah, because I like that little ditty. I think that sounds really
Every
good.
Every day. It doesn't take hardly any seconds, really.
When you're cleaning your teeth, or maybe not when you're cleaning your teeth, because but you could say in your head, and you do the tune whilst you're cleaning your teeth. Yeah. Lots of ways of doing it. So again, thank you everyone so much for watching and joining in, and thank you Denise for being on the show. It's been absolutely lovely. A long time getting you onto the show, but we finally got you here. so that's really good. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you all again, same time, same place next week. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.